Greetings, greetings. Good morning, good morning. I appreciate you. Salute to everybody. God damn, I appreciate you. It's a wonderful morning once again. It's pretty good for me, man. I think last night was really good. Not the live stream. The live stream was good too. We just talked about your steak heads, but women just have no idea, man. They don't know what we deal with as men, and they're not telling you. They don't know what we deal with when we got to tell old man, younger man, like, yo, how to wash up. You know what I'm saying? It's tough. A man dates a man. A man dates a woman with a man or a young child, male as a son. She's gonna come to a man to connect with him, and we don't want to be bothered, right? But then when she has a daughter, it's like, oh well, could you talk to my daughter about? It's like, no, that's something you got to talk about. You know what I mean? It's certain duties that you have to apply, and I feel that. But anyway, in retrospect, and the whole situation, we had one bozo that popped up on that live stream last night, and one thing I have to understand, and I know I have this issue. Sometimes I get distracted, and especially when somebody is like not listening. They just typing and typing and typing and typing and typing, and my members and them know, unless they got something really going on, they going through something. You may have to tell them, yo, slow down, because I read the comments for the most part. For the most part, sometimes I slip past whatever, but it's very very annoying. And the reason why it's annoying, it's not because you're typing. It's the fact that when you type like that, it's never good. We were talking about bathing and encouraging men to get more in the tub, even if he does it once a week. Have a bath a day. Get involved in it. Be patient. Everything is not a rush. Learn how to soak your body and relax your thoughts. And it just has so many great advantages. You don't want to be in a position where you have nothing but time because now you got health issues, to enjoy this. So enjoy it while you can. And there's just some people that's like, well, you could also try this. It's like, no, we're not trying that. You know what I mean? Like alternatives. If the topic is what alternatives would a person suggest? What would you suggest? And that's different. That's a conversation. Like this is a classroom. Don't suggest anything to me. You could tell me things like, yo, your mic is off or your sound sounds bad. You know what I'm saying? But I'm good. Trust and believe that. That's why I do what I do. So I don't know. It was just weird. But I tried because sometimes I'm like, one thing I learned about myself, and this is real. I, you know, everybody's different, and there's some things I could accept. It's just some personalities. I'm like, And if somebody else might tell me I can't deal with that person, I don't know how you do it. I'm like, well, I do. But then there's a lot of cases that I'm starting to find out that bother me in the sense of people that excuse their character. And when you excuse it and try to fix it and try to change, like that's a risk. That's a risk I would never tell anyone to do. I think it's important to know what you can handle. You may have a person that, case in point, I was talking to a young lady this morning. This morning. And she said she was leaving a voice text, and she yarned, and she said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I apologize for yawning." And it was just one time. And a yarn completely like that drives me crazy. Like for real, like in a very negative way. Like it's just totally, totally like the worst thing. Like when I think of a yarn, I think of a man, right? So when a woman is yarning and she's leaving a voicemail, it's like, yo, you want to like try this again later? Like yawning is like, yo, you need to go to sleep. It's not rest. You need to go to bed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, she did, but I know other people that yarn, and they don't even excuse it. They'll just say, "Oh, damn, I'm still tired." I'm like, "Yo, that shit is like burping." You know what I'm saying? I said, when you're yarning like that, to me, right? Somebody else may not even think it is. So when she excused herself, it leveled it out because it was like, okay, she's a little lady. You know what I mean? At least she knew. When there's situations that a person could have yawned like 6 times in the last 2 minutes, and it's like disgusting. Like I'm like, yo, that's like eating on the phone. Now again, for the most part, I can't talk to nobody eating on the phone, but I could deal with it more with a man than a woman. Because men are just more like nasty. A man's a man, like, fart, sleep with it. You know what I mean? So when you're hearing a woman yarning, it becomes like, whoa, like, yo, you want to call me because it's super rude. But a lot of people don't realize that. Some people may not have seen, I don't see the problem. You don't yarn. And what ends up happening is this, you clash now, because this is where personalities clash. A lot of times in this world, we're taught, especially men, to accept it because we looking for one thing. So we'll kind of deal with the woman that is, on the phone and lollygagging and doing this, and she may have even popped a fart. Well, I ain't gonna go that far. That's gonna turn anybody off. But you understand, there's just certain things that, for lack of words, people's personalities clash. Nobody looks anymore for like, yo, I could get along with you. You know what I mean? Like, we get along. You listen to me. You listen to me. That's a big deal. So when you see somebody's personality, you know what I mean? Who's that? Who's that? Hold on. That's darling. How you doing, Anna? What up, Anna? What up, baby girl? Shout out to Anna. Goddamn. Good morning to you, darling. Goddamn. So personality clashes are like a real thing. It's very hard. I know y'all are listening to this whole situation that happened with Anton Daniels and that other jerk, whatever. Number one, I think that shit was fake. You know what I mean? I think they just did that and put that on. I don't think it was real. But if it was, the only reason why I said it wasn't real because Ice-T's ex-wife was, I guess Corey's co-host, Corey Holcomb's she was too relaxed. They seem like they just planned that just to build some propaganda and views, and nobody's sweating in there. I didn't feel it. I felt that even the argument wasn't even that serious. Like, it's to the point now where Corey Holcomb was looking like suspect there, because I'm like, damn, nigga, like, okay, you said you don't do whatever, but nigga, like, you putting too much emphasis on. Nobody gets mad at that being called a cocksucker no more. Nigga. Just tell a nigga, yo, eat a dick. You know what I mean? He's a clown. But those were two examples of personalities clashing. You're putting an individual in the room together with somebody else, and y'all got two views on something, and it's just never going to work. I don't care if there's an apology. I don't care if you have a smooth conversation. You got to be mindful of people that don't get along. And that's what I do. I had to tell a family member, I'm like, listen, if there's ever a problem with this person, when this person's around, you got to call the cops and tell the cops that he has a gun. You know what I mean? Like, don't fight him. You're old. You know what I'm saying? You're older, and you don't want to put yourself in a position. Just call the cops and say he pulled a gun on you. That's it. And that'll fix that quick. That's your bodyguards, 911. You know what I mean? When them niggas come there, then when they arrive, you good. And let them deal with that clown. You know what I'm saying? But you don't want to put yourself in a position to you're not physically able to handle something, and you may think you are, and shit could go left, et cetera, et cetera. But personalities clash. If you don't listen to me, I don't deal with you. That's just it. I don't care if you're my woman, you work with me. You don't listen, we don't deal. It's nothing. There's nothing to it. And somebody may say, well, nobody has to. Oh yeah, they do. When they deal with me, they got to listen. If they're not going to listen, I can't deal with you. The other day, a guy hit my mirror, and I'm going up the block in this tight street. I know it's tight. Pause. Going up the block, and this nigga comes flying down the block And when he's flying, we could have still made it, but he tried to dip on his one car and he hits my shit. And my mirror on my car is very expensive. I knew it was gonna be expensive because I knew the way it hit. I'm like, damn, it's damage. You know what I'm saying? So I made a U-turn, whatever, pull behind him. He starts talking. He's like, yeah, this, that, and the third. I apologize. Um, I'm like, well, what we gonna do? You know what I mean? I didn't know what to do either because it's like I don't know certain accidents or situations. You know, this ain't no ordinary mirror. So I called my man to find out what I should do, and he ain't picking up. That didn't mean shit anyway because me and the dude, we exchange information, you know, just names, whatever, and say, yo, give him a call, whatever. Gave me the impression that he was going to pay for whatever got to be done. My man calls back like 10 minutes later. We already left the scene of the accident, whatever. Because in New York, we can't call the police for like bullshit when it comes to accidents anymore. It has to be like a car is to the point where it can't drive. You know what I mean? You have to call a tow truck. So we can't do no police reports here for that. So as I was dealing with this dude, I'm laid back because at the end of the day, it could have been worse, but I'm just more annoyed because I'm like, why did I do this? So I'm kind of mad at myself, and it's like, you know what? It's taking some accountability. So then the dude, um, you know, I video record whatever I could, whatever. With the guy was out, so he calls me up, and then my man calls me up and tells me, "Yo, bro, damn, yo, what the hell, yo, why you ain't take the information? They should write this and write that." I'm like, nigga, that's why I was calling you. You know what I mean? Like, but whatever. So listen, that mirror ain't cheap. I'm like, damn. And then he looks it up. Shit's like $1,000. I'm like, oh my god. So I'm tight now. I'm just like, oh boy. So he said, when you tell this guy that, you know, now the story's gonna change. I said, yeah, I know. You know what I mean? Tell the nigga, listen, and shit is cheap. This mirror like $1,000. So he's like, oh, let me call you back because the car's in my father's name. I'm like, we all know this is gonna not end nice. So whatever. The guy calls me back. He's like, listen, you know, I'm just gonna be fixing my mirror. And I'm like, well, if we don't do it, I'm just gonna call insurance. So he's like, well, I'm just gonna fix my mirror because you know my mirror is messed up too. And I'm like, oh, bro. So I just was like, you know what, man? I think I banged on a nigga. Bang means hang up. So I hung up the phone. Then I called back. I'm like, yo, you know what's funny, man? You gave me the impression that you was gonna take care of the business, whatever, and then you switching it. He's like, I never said. I said, fuck, I hung up on him again. So the point of the matter is, you know, let me just do what I gotta do. You know what I mean? This guy ain't gonna get my blood pressure up. He ain't gonna do shit. You know what I'm saying? And this is why niggas get beat up. This is why what happens when people do flip on materialistic things. It's not the principle you hit my shit, it's because people like that. You know, the nigga knew what he did. He knew what he did when he first hit me, because you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, my man tells me later, well, then he finds out we were driving both together. He's like, well, there's nobody at fault then. Because y'all both was driving, you hit each other's mirror. I'm like, oh boy. So whatever. I said, listen, just tell me what could I do, et cetera, et cetera. Long story short, my man ended up having the mirror, a used one, thank God. And shit was still fucking expensive. I ain't gonna even tell you how much I paid for that shit, but whatever. I just had to eat it. Got it done. So the day came out good because it gave me an impression now to know how life is. Like, just accept it. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna deal with dicks. If anything, I just wish I kept driving. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he passed, he hit my shit. I didn't know his mirror. I thought his mirror was worse. It was my shit that made all that noise. But what I should have just did was just keep going. And not as far as what wait, talking to, or I should have just kept the show. You good, you good. Listen, man, we're just gonna shake hands and then I'm out of here and just sped off. Changing the numbers and all that shit's a waste of time because now what ends up happening is just it makes my shit boil. That shit made me mad that night. But yesterday was good. It all worked out. My man came through, installed it. We back in business, right? But that's the mode of knowing personality and character. You know, especially out here where I live. Like, you know, you live out here with a lot of people that just, when you're dealing with blacks, you got to give them a different level. You know what I'm saying? Because once them niggas go home and they on the phone, then they going to get tough or whatever. You know that. So knowing the male nature just generally, you know what I'm saying? I know the male nature when it comes from dealing with men and women, but I know the male nature when it dealing with a white dude, black dude. You know what I mean? I just know how men are. You know what I mean? For the most part, not everything, but a lot more than normal. Same thing when I told you about Anton Daniels and Corey Holcomb with that whole shit going on. That shit was corny and fake. Um, it was real corny, as a matter of fact. I didn't get into none of that, but whatever. Um, that's what they do, you know. And nigga, when a nigga know he don't, there's a level where we're gonna go through and try to intimidate you, but there's a level where you know a person's gonna flip. I remember one time I was in Walmart and this girl was gonna flip on this older Spanish woman. Like they were arguing. She's like, "One time you hit me, I'll break your guy." And I knew. I said, "She's gonna hit her." That's different. I didn't know her. I intervened enough way to just push her away carefully because I'm like, I don't want to see the sister get locked up. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew she was gonna hit that lady. That was real. But we know this about character. Some of our characters of knowing women and men may be more mode of you trying to change somebody. And you know, the worst thing you want to do is attempting to change the character of somebody. Never do that. I'm not going to even tell you the point it never works, but you should even never even try to attempt that. You know, they have places for characters, whether it's a church where you praising a person or whether there's a person in church doing the wrong thing and they will pay for it. They just said now the Frugal Gourmet. I don't know how many of y'all used to watch it. When I was younger, I used to watch the Frugal Gourmet. And there's this big thing in the New York Times today that he had like a situation of alleged little things with little boys. You know, so I'm getting to the point right now. Every time I see like a honorable looking man that doesn't talk about men and women, and you know, but he does things like cartoons or cooking or church. I'm always thinking of child molesters. That's just me, you know, or they're gay, you know. Um, but in regards to a woman, I've had situations where women we're clashing, and then there's an apology, and it's like, no, there's no apology. If anything, I have to excuse myself because I have to accept that this is just your character. And when shit goes bad, you're gonna do this again and again and again. It's hard for us to accept that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Don Peter Press. Shout out to D. It's hard for us to accept that. Um, so what I want to tell you about this in class today is I know there's women out here that are going through challenges, you know, personal challenges of reproduction or personal female or woman issues that men are oblivious to. But I'm aware of it. I'm aware you have your outsides and you have your insides. And I'm also aware that a lot of men don't pay attention to the insides as much as they do if they pay any attention to the outsides. A lot of men don't even take care of their body and know how to clean it properly, nevertheless take care of it, as we talked about. But when women have to understand one thing, when you are going into this general population as a woman and you have a goal to have a child with a man because you feel he's the chosen one because he may be tall, he may be good looking, he may be mixed or whatever he may be, in order for you to chance to take the risk knowingly to have a baby with a man, you must know his character. And I don't mean the good, I mean the ugly. That's when you know a man. You need to know his character on abandonment, in his character on influence, his character on does he listen to TikTok or he's a Facebook guy. That means a part because if he's a TikToker, in most cases he's sick. You know, mental illnesses come from more TikTokers than anybody. You know, Trump supporters, all that. That's what they do all fucking day. And people that tell you that, oh, they do it for education, there is no education, nigga. Niggas don't know how to read a book anymore. Niggas don't know how to read a newspaper, nevertheless. You know what I mean? So You can get a lot of facts from reading, but people are so stupid they just want the fast way. But I'll say this: when a woman is thinking about choosing a father, especially a black woman, you got to remember, if a man, if you're not dating and you feel that you're going to choose a man out here and y'all going to go half on a baby and like, yo, you know what? You got your shit together. I got my shit together. Let's do it. You got to remember, a man is not thinking long term at all. He's thinking about the sex, right? No, that's number one. Just bear that in mind now. So just remember, God forbid, 5, 10, 15 years down the line, and for some reason you don't have the same looks you did or whatever. What is this relationship based on? You understand? That's number one. Number two, some of you guys is gay that want to have kids with a woman because you just want to have kids because you can't reproduce with a man. Don't have kids, nigga. Go have it with a man. Good luck with that. Like, being gay is all anti-woman, but it's all, now you need a woman to do it. So, you know what I mean? Unlike you gotta have it with a woman, nigga. This is, physically, even if you donate your sperm. But a woman, on the other hand, if you're gonna have a baby with this gay man, you gotta bear in mind a DNA. You gotta bear in mind that he may never be around for your child because he doesn't have to be. He should be, but he doesn't have to be. You may think those are the two of the same thing. It's not the same thing, because that agreement is just a word. It's a phrase. It you know what I mean? Whatever y'all going through, y'all utilizing, but you as a woman are going to think internally, well, I thought. No, you can't think, because if you're going to do that, to have a partnership, this is a suggestion. I'm telling you to deal with us, how you deal with us. You're better off going to a sperm clinic and just cut your losses. Because in that way, and I know, eventually when the kid gets older, they're going to be looking for the father. Eventually, you probably going to be looking, with all the technology we're going to have tomorrow, where we're all going to, you know what I mean? So you can't go into a partnership with somebody that's not your boyfriend, that just happens to be a nigga that probably just wanted to pipe it. And he knows that, hey, well, shit, if she wants me to be a baby, he may be there for a couple of weeks. Oh, it's cute, whatever. Now shit changes. You got to go to the doctor for the shots. We got to put money away for this. We got to put money away for college. We need more clothes, more diapers. That shit is expensive on a level that you can never imagine. There's no job that have harder than raising a child, because it's a lifetime commitment. Your job is not a lifetime commitment. You know what I mean? You're giving a shelf time, and they tell you to retire by law. You know what I mean? So as a father, people have to understand that a man's mindset is a lot different. You giving a man a proposition to have a child with him is basically giving him a proposition to have sex with him. That's how he's looking at it. Because if it was going to be a mode of, we don't have to have sex, then tell him just to donate the sperm and there's no sexual contact at all. At least that's some sort of a good foundation. But even then, he may just love the flex that that's my baby's mother. I had a child with her. Especially if you're a pretty bitch. He'll just be glad to say he got a kid with you. But he's not glad to be a father and raise his child for the rest of his life. You know what I mean? It's a big, big difference. So women that are not able to have children, yeah, you can still adopt. And good luck with that, because you can still adopt and have a boyfriend or a husband. And your expectations would be, well, we know what it was. We try to reproduce, shit ain't go right, and we just adopted it. Now this person may feel, well, damn, that ain't my kid. Mother's different. A mother's mindset is she's always going to be connected to a child because that's her nature. You know what I mean? Whether she gave birth to you or not. But a man, After a while, he may play that shit in his head. It could happen. So when, basically in a nutshell, I've never seen this shit work. I remember in my past, I've had two prominent women. Maybe there was more, but two prominent women that I used to always say to her, them, um, if you ever have a situation, you don't get pregnant by whatever, just we'll have a baby. We raise it because we were male and female friends. Now looking in hindsight, do you know how much of a disaster that would have been if I got my daughter now and these two fucking lunatics that end up being lunatics? Because remember, we was talking about this shit in our 30s. Once these niggas hit 40s, it went left. You understand? So just imagine what people don't understand about co-parenting. That's what y'all call it, and babies' mothers, and you live over here and I live over here, and you got married and you had another baby and another man's around. You all of those elements become a very, very, very a big risk factor. Shout out to Thelonious. It becomes a big risk factor because what ends up happening as a man, he didn't sign up for this. In his mind, it's fun to make the baby. In your mind, you may have a little bit of fun making it too, but for the most part, you're thinking about the long haul, the pregnancy, the pregnancy alone, the whole journey of a pregnancy, your body changing, you going through the levels, you having to have a partner be there, going to those appointments if needed. You know what I mean? All of these things come into place. So with a woman, if you're gonna go, I hate to say this, to deal with a black man, especially because that's what y'all mostly deal with. To deal with any man, let's just put it there, because you could probably go to a white man, he'd be a piece of shit too. When your intention is you want to have a child with this person, always go with the mindset of he's not going to be there. Put that in your mind and then think about doing it. Don't think about, oh, we had an agreement, he told me this. Don't, man change like the weather. That doesn't mean nothing, because you have no idea how our mind is the minute we bust a nut. You're no longer new anymore to us. You know what I mean? It's a special moment for you, but in most cases, it's a past moment for him. It's no longer a new moment. So you going in the mode of whether you're adopting, whether you're doing foster children, and you looking at this man as a potential partner to raise these children, you as a woman have to think of it. What would you do if he died? Let's say he died before the baby was pregnant, before the baby was even born, or you went to an adoption agency, and 3 months the baby you got an infant and he died. The man died at 6 months. How are you going to raise this child with that mindset? No, you're not, because you're going to go by promises, because you're a woman and your nature is to go by, you told me this and I remember you said this and you had this amount of kids. No, if you meet a man, for example, that has 5 children, 4 children, multiple kids, whether he lives with them or he doesn't, and you look at him as a potential partner because, for one side he's married, he has kids already, you see that he's a good father. I get it. That's how slim it is. Or he has multiple kids, but all of his baby's mothers is crazy. So he says. The minute this man blocks you and never talks to you, or he just MIA, that is the expectation that you have to prepare for. You have to prepare for that, because it will happen. I'm telling you, it will. Numerically, statistically, okay? He's gonna bow out. Whether it's Anton Daniels and Corey Holcomb arguing, somebody's gonna back out. And in most cases, they're gonna back out because they're scared. They're scared of getting hurt. They're scared of lawsuits. You know what I mean? I didn't want to beat this white boy up when he hit the car. What's going to end up happening? I'm going to go to jail, and it's going to cost me a fortune now to hire lawyers. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's so much cheaper just eating it, right, and just dealing with it, right? So years ago, I seen my father do things like that. You was able to get it where you can't now. Everybody's going to tell. There's cameras everywhere. So if I meet a dude and he's like, yeah, you know, if you ever need some work, yo, man, let me know. I could handle anything. I'm this. Once he's talking too much, most cases, he's just a talker. And in most cases, it's a high probability that there's a high chance that he doesn't do none of the stuff he says. I'm setting myself up for that. So if he does do more, hey, I didn't expect it. So I'm saying to you, if you go in with this mindset and you want to have a child and there's nobody worthy because you want to be married, and you do know this in the Black hemisphere, you're living, that's a fantasy land. Number one, you might as well just forget that. Whoever made it, whoever's doing well on Instagram, Facebook, good for them. For you, you have to think like this. When you're bringing a child into this world, you're bringing them by yourself. That's the mindset you have. You have to have the same mindset that a woman dating a man has to have the same mindset as a woman that goes into a sperm clinic. Yes, I know it's your nature. Eventually, you're going to want to be curious and know who's whatever, and meeting the real person, whatever, if you have that, that luxury. But then again, you may look for him one time and he may be deceased. You know what I mean? So with the nature of a man will do anything for sex, even have a baby with you. A man to shoot inside of a woman with no permission or no motive, of a discussion, he's trying to destroy your life. He doesn't have a baby with you because we should have a big family together. He has the baby with you to desensitize you. That's just what he does. Any man, I have to bust inside for that. Yes, among each other, that's how he talks. But we don't have conversations. That's a woman I want to have a family with. We don't have those conversations. You may look at the whole bag, oh, she's a hoe, she sleep with mad niggas, whatever. What, because she has 5 different babies' fathers? That doesn't mean anything. There's hoes that got 5 kids by one father. And she's never single. And then you have a woman that just chooses bum ass niggas that is always single. You know what I mean? It all depends. But the expectation of you doing, because these 2 women I offered that to, it's because I wanted to have sex with them. Now looking in retrospect, like looking at the past, I'm like, I just wanted to have sex with them at the time. Now they're older now. Who knows what they look like? The brain is crazier. That's a nightmare. A nightmare, ladies and gentlemen. Half on a baby never works. I don't know a human being existing that did that. Don't tell me about no celebrity shit. I don't know a human being that did that and it worked. Because a woman is going to have high expectations when a nigga has a baby with her, right? She is. As she should know. She should have not had those expectations because he wasn't even a partner where you could say he was your husband. I could get and say he was your husband. I could see the motive expectation, but then you're going to be in a position like women that have multiple kids by multiple different babies' daddies because he promised her. The only time a man is going to be there for the long haul is knowing when he's going to be there for the long haul. You have to live that. You'll never, it can't be promised. He can't promise that. It's impossible. You just got to see how many years you in. Baby's 7, 8 years old. He's been here since day one. You're lucky. Your kid's 15 and you haven't heard from him since he was 2. Oh, well. You should have just went to a sperm bank because you would have had less expectations. Your expectations are high because you had a relationship with this person and you didn't realize when the baby came, it changes him. That's why in our community, black men walk away from children. The non-black woman, she has a better chance because he's having kids with her for the wrong reasons, but she has an upper hand because she's able to hook him a little differently than you. 2 different cultures. That's black men are weak for that. So it's acceptance kicks in. You know what I mean? He doesn't care if you accept him in his culture if you're black, but if she's Asian, you know what I mean? She may have an upper hand. She can do more damage to him in his mind, basically, is what I'm saying. He rapes you, you do 25 to life. He rapes the white woman, he's doing 100 years. That's just how it is. When the cops come and y'all fighting, yeah, you still may go to jail, but if he fight with that white woman, forget it. Look what happened to Jonathan Majors. Ruined his whole career. So we don't really mean what we say when we say that. Period. There's no man that really means that. He's just going with the essence of, oh, I'll make you a baby. I'll give you a baby tonight. And even if you tell him, yeah, take the condom off, come inside of me because you want a baby, then just remember, do the number that he does on you. Show me a woman that had a baby from a man. Show me a woman that had a baby from a man, gave birth, and dipped on him. Show me one. Show me a woman that dipped on a man, left him. I'm done. I got what I wanted. Show me one. Does anybody know that a woman that got pregnant told them to meet him at the hospital or they were dating or whatever, and she just disappeared and left him and took the baby and bounced? If she ever does take the baby, it's because he wasn't trying to be the father. But a man, shit, I could show you dozens of women. They haven't heard from that nigga the day they told them they were pregnant. Show me a woman that got impregnated from a man and disappeared. Excuse me, baby, I'm pregnant. What? Oh shit, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. He's getting it, and then she disappears. He ain't never hear from her. It does not happen. Damn, yesterday, yo, I don't know. I got this girl pregnant 2003. She told me she was pregnant. She told me she's on the way. We was gonna go to the hospital with the good news and do this because and then she just took off and disappeared and raised the kid. That doesn't happen. The pros of having a partner that fathers a child with you is he fathers the child with you. That's the pro. The only pro is him, the journey of him being there. If you're lucky enough to have that, the con is bigger than the pro. So going into that mindset, I'm just going to keep this real simple because I got to skedaddle. Keep the mindset of this. If you're thinking about locking down a man with a baby, thinking about locking yourself down with a baby. Because that's the reality. You have to live with that. And you also have to explain to your daughter or son in the future that I couldn't find a good father, so I went to a sperm donor. That part. Some of y'all, they adopt kids. You got to go with them and tell them the real truth that, hey, you know what I mean? We are not your biological parents. That part. But you're aware of that. At least you're aware of that. You're aware of that. Y'all go into belief and understand it. But even then, a woman has to put the mindset, unfortunately, to build her character, to have the lowest expectations when having a baby with a man. There are women out here. I know a woman personally that had a child with a nigga that has multiple kids, and she's having problems with him. She's having problems with herself. A lot of y'all women, I hate to say that phrase, but a lot of women out here date these men. You hear they fucking damn testimony. He's lying. Any man that has multiple children is a no-no. Period. Period. Multiple kids for a man is worse than a woman that has multiple children. It's worse because it's a clear indication of his character. That means he's a piece of trash. I don't care if the nigga tells you he's 30 years old and he got 4 kids. What are you going to do with that? You think, oh, well, I'll have his baby and he's going to make yours number one. And yeah, but what's going to happen to the other children? Why would you even involve yourself in that? And then later on, when a nigga's a bum, you want to scream to the world, he's a bum ass nigga. And he got multiple kids. It's like, well, why would you have a baby with a nigga like that? And expect something, you stupid bitch? Now that reflects on you. Because I'm like, what were you thinking? When them kids get older, you got to explain that to them. Mom, let me ask you a question. Why would you have a baby with dad and he already had 5 kids already? What was you thinking? And you have to tell your son or daughter and said, I never was thinking. I never thought, I never used my brain. I thought mommy could lock him down with this good pussy and head. Mom, I don't want to hear that. So that's why I'm here, because you was sucking daddy off good. You understand? Those of you that have experienced a great partnership, I would like to hear from you. I want to hear from the ones that planned it. No relationship. We homeboys and homegirls, and we had a baby together, and this nigga's been the most sensational father in my life. I want to hear from you. And I want to hear from the woman that got pregnant from a man, said, yeah, fuck him, blocked her number and went across to South America and raised a kid by herself. I want to hear from you. When a man hears, I'm thinking about having a baby, you thinking about it like, oh, wow, that's a beautiful. For you, it is. Not for him. It's all sexual. Because if you tell him how we going to do this, and in most cases, well, I just want you to put your sperm in I want you to go to the sperm clinic, they're going to take it from there. He's not going to like that. He wants to have the fun of doing it. See, the problem is you haven't accepted your character as a woman, as a female. Your character is different. You know, we were having this conversation, a little off the record, but just listen to nature. So we was in the shop yesterday, and these guys is from South America and shit, so they be seeing some nasty shit. So he was telling me one time where this dude, sick story, but just hear me out. This sick dude, he betted him to screw this donkey or some shit. And so, the other Spanish cats is getting on him like, what kind of sick man are you don't want to pay a man to do? But anyway, he's talking about how it happened, and then how the donkey got into a position when she felt these human balls and penis on. The female got into a position and backed into the shit to know what it was. Isn't that amazing that an animal even knows when a female animal knows the position of her vagina to meet this magic wand that she wants to get and receive to feel the satisfaction and the feeling. Sick story, but on another flip side, it was a man. The dirtiest dog in the world is a fucking man. He'll fuck anything, as I told you, all right? So, needless to say, that's the nature of a man. I'm not surprised. And the female nature, internally receiving and knowing, even as an animal, hey, that's a dick right there. You know what I'm saying? So the nature of you as a woman, you have high expectations and you're going to be very emotional. And you're dealing with an emotional creature that's called a man. And his emotions are made through sex. Whether it's your pastor, whether it's your teacher, whether he's straight or gay, that is the nature of a man. Sex. I don't care if he fucked a dog. One way or another, his promises are met through a sexual encounter. You dig what I'm saying? Your nature of receiving a promise, what he was told, all the above. They also have to accept your nature as a woman is your personality. Doesn't change. It stays stable in most cases, but it's not going to change. You can't change a woman. So as a woman, how do you think you're going to change a man? You can't change you. If I know you're a crazy bitch, hold on. If I know you are a crazy bitch, and I tell you crazy, and you tell me you apologize, that won't happen again, it will happen again. The question is, am I going to be around to deal with it? You can't change that. There's not a woman I can tell you, yeah, I changed her. It's not existed. I never did that. I've inspired her. You know what I mean? I probably, you know what I mean? Me and my wife, we get along through the thick and the bad. I know how to push her buttons. She know how to push mine, but I know my limit. So another man that could have dated her, but like, yeah, I can't fuck with her. I can't deal with her for this, for that, for this. I'm like, nah, that's the package. I'm cool with it. The whole package is her. We click. That's it. It's like a seatbelt. You click, all right, cool. We could get to work. A seatbelt is made to save a life. We click. You click, you click. That's it. You can't try to make people click. Stop trying. You know what I mean? So even in my past, and I hate to say this, yes, I did offer a few women in my past, we should just have a baby together if you don't find the right man, because I knew they couldn't find shit. But I would have regretted that because I wouldn't have been into it. I probably would have been a fucked up father because I wouldn't have been supportive of her. You get it? Beware of that. You got through situations. You could have an illness. You may need me to be there for you, and that wasn't part of the package. A part of the package is I just wanted to give you a baby. We don't have high expectations with that. You do. So be mindful and be very careful of that. Chris says, yeah, Chris, where the hell you been? Damn. Where have you been? Damn, bro. Shit, we haven't heard from you in months. Doesn't it even matter if the child was conceived while married? Even if the kids, there's a lot of y'all out here that was conceived during the marriage because your father fucked around or your mother. You know, some people lucked out. I know niggas that got married and had kids and brought the kid into the family. It depends. It's just, that's risky. That's once in a blue it's going to ever happen. You know what I mean? Constant, when I found that I was pregnant with my son, I told him, he's free to go, and begged me and to let him be involved. Right. But even that, I've seen situations like that changing. Kid turns 1, 2, 3, forget it. Niggas get tired of that shit. So if you told him that, which is the best challenge, I actually admire that. You told him he's free to go. Good. That was good that you said that. Because in that case, it's like, yeah, nigga, you free to go. But he stayed, and he's still there because you accepted the mindset that, hey, you know what I mean? This is the nature of a black man. Most black men, that's their nature. For a black woman, it doesn't work for you good with that. He could give you a baby, but he ain't going half on it. He could definitely give you a sperm. He could definitely be a sperm donor. No question about that. All right. That 15-year-old shithole, what does he got to offer? That's another thing. That's all he got to offer. He'll give you a baby. Don't expect him to be a father. Having high expectations for a black man to be a father. I mean, come on now. Who does that? Who does that? That's not even logical. A nigga? My fault, bro. Been trying to level up in my career with the licenses. I've been watching the catalog. No, it's all good. Listen, man, I used to get on people for taking a little breaks, but the good thing is no disrespect to you, but shit, I didn't realize you were going until you left the comment. so, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Ken Thompson. Salute my brother. I'm saying it, it would have been one thing. We'd be like, yo, has anybody seen Chris? You know what I mean? But when people take off from me, that's usually got an issue with me. That's what happens. Not you. I'm saying that's usually what happens. So what I've learned now is, that's the expectation. You know what I mean? My expectations is low. They probably something I said and they went over and started listening to Anton Daniels. And then they realized this nigga's a clown. Let me go back to Nate. You know what I'm saying? So, but salute. It's good seeing you though, bro. Yeah, man. So Nate, what are you saying? If you're gonna go half on a baby, just go to a sperm bank, man. I'm telling you that right now. Don't even bother. Believe me, I don't give a fuck what that nigga tell you. Because you're gonna have an expectation. You're going to have an expectation because the physical living father inseminated inside you. You're gonna have you're gonna get in a position and you're gonna have a baby. That's what you're gonna do. All right. And when he hit that shit from the back, front, and doing all this, and next thing you know, you sucked you up, came all in your face, whatever. Next thing you know, he told you he pregnant. And he like, oh shit, just got real. Like, okay, well, we gotta go. We got this doctor's appointment. He like, I can't make that. You can't make it. Why not? Well, I got to work that day. But you knew what this was. You knew what we were doing. We plan. I'm telling you. And that's what he got to deal with for the rest of the life. Well, we don't know how long a person's gonna live, but you have no idea what you're signing up for when you do that. Okay. If you fucked with a nigga that had multiple kids, you might as well just went to a sperm bank. That's worthless. If you're young, if you're in school, if you're in high school and you're listening to me and you have a boyfriend and what is he? He's a piece of shit. What is he gonna do? You guys have sex, he's gonna bust a nut and try to get you pregnant. What can a 15-year-old black boy do? Nothing. He can't do shit. That's nothing but a future fucking jailbird. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 30, 40. It don't black man, come on now. That's you gotta hit a jackpot. That's a lottery. You better off just playing lotto and try. Listen, before you deal with a nigga to have kids and have high expectations, just play the fucking lotto every day. You can't expect nothing from him. I live near a family court. I see it all the time. And all I see in there is niggas and non-black women that deal with niggas. They're terrible. Terrible. And if the mamas raised them, they're just as bad. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's leave this here. I love you all. But half on a baby, I wouldn't suggest it. You're going to be disappointed and you're going to be raising that kid in anguish because you can't rely on his word. His word means nothing. Well, half on a baby and you married. Well, you married. It's not half on a baby. It's you married him. And even then, you take a risk. You may see how he deals with your daughters, his daughters. He had kids. You had kids like the Brady Bunch. It's a dice roll. You're not going to know until you listen. You take a chance. For me to tell you the best type of man to have a baby with is a real man. But how are you going to know that? Now, again, I personally don't know a human being that says, nah, this chick, no, my son, no, me and my kid's mother got a great relationship. See, what happened was that was my homegirl. She couldn't find a good boyfriend, so I just said, fuck it, I'll do it. And 15 years later, we doing a great job. It doesn't go like that. It just doesn't. So out to D, what up? So ladies and gentlemen, it's been real. Just wanted to share that with you, give you some quick information for the day. I hope it all went well, and I hope it's all going good. But beware. Beware. Oh, I got thick skin. I can handle it. Yeah, you think you can. Accept your character. If you have a weak character, don't look for another man's character. Accept your character. Know what you can and cannot handle. Knowing it. At least have an inkling that, well, I'm a woman, so I'm unpredictable. Accept that. Accept the fact of trying to be something that you're not because you have to have thick skin to deal with a man keeping it real. I don't give a fuck what he tell you. His out is going to be, well, I told you. And I don't mean shit because your emotion's not going to be able to handle that. Yes, you did tell me you were married. Yes, you did tell me you had 30 kids, but I'm still pissed off. And you know what's sad? You're right. You're still pissed off. Do you have a right? Well, you have a right to your expression. Don't mean you're right. But you have a right to your expression. But, you're literally out of your fucking mind. Never fuck with a man with multiple kids. Don't even fucking date him. The most that should be is your homeboy. That's it. Your homeboy, you're not attracted to him. You never will be. You know what I mean? That's different. He could be a slave at that point. You know the nigga for years, whatever, but never, ever, ever, ever. Once a motherfucker tell you got 2-3 kids, don't even go to lunch with him because you're a woman. You're impressionable. What happens if you fall in love with this nigga? You know how tacky it is to have a fucking kid with a man and got a whole bunch of children by different mothers? Now you baby mother this. That's terrible. At least be the only one. He got none. And even then you take a chance because you don't know if he's telling the fucking truth. Be around him to know if he's a liar. Learn his character. Don't try to change it. Just learn it. Either you're going to accept it or you don't. That's it. That's the character of a human being. Accept it or you don't. You can't change nobody. It's virtually, biologically impossible. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been real. Have a great day. Class is dismissed. God damn.
Oh! Yeah. What's up? Yeah.